Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my Shattered Isle solo campaign. We'd left the characters in quite an exciting position. They had completed two of my scenes. I have still one to go before we reach Dun Calath. That is our ultimate goal, to get across this moorland and reach this fortified settlement, which we are trying desperately to get to before nightfall. I thought what I would do, because I had a bit of time after the last episode, and I did say that I was going to do a bit of prep for this one, was maybe just give a bit of setup and summarize what the current status of the party was. Just as a bit of a recap, we left the party having negotiated a treacherous stretch of boggy moorland. Gartnet, our sea raider, he is exhausted from his peat bog entanglement. He sterling work to get out. He managed to free his leg, which was being sucked into the peat bog. A bit of panic from Garnet, but yes, the gods must have listened to him. He used his tremendous might of three to relieve his leg from that peat bog. Probably it wasn't as maybe a major obstacle. I think I rolled about a 2 or something, adjusted 2. So it probably was quite reasonable. Maybe it wouldn't have affected the party, but maybe one individual it was a bit more extreme. The party, they also realise that time is marching on. If they don't get to Dun Calath soon, they will need to strike camp, as nightfall is only an hour or so away. So there's a bit of a time pressure coming on, even though they had that element of sunshine. The sun came out for them. That's not going to last for too long, because the sun will set in an hour or so. The characters have successfully climbed the windswept ridge and nestled between some large boulders and rocky outcrops, they see the remnants of a camp before them. Right, well, that was our ultimate game. And just to give you a quick recap of the territory, this was my rough map, which is pretty. Maybe I have to improve my iconography, and maybe for future episodes I could maybe have a grid pre-created, and maybe have some bits of sections so that I can put it in. But it does the job just now. This is where we're approaching with these giant boulders, giant rocks. Quite a dramatic and quite a stark landscape. They have gained some insights during their climb, and I'm saying that the inner spirit awoken during Kayla's scree slip. So remember, she was coming down and she had a bit of a spirit test, and I think what happens when she was coming down there, her inner spirit was released, and it showed her gave her the power to overcome her fear, and she managed to control herself, and she had a vision, inner vision of this spirit, and what the spirit has done is it's awoken during Kayla's scree slip and has decided to further bless her, and has spoken of what this camp might be. So it is basically hanging around a bit longer. It wants to help Kayla and it sees that she is probably in a bit of distress, that the party isn't doing too well. Kayla uses 1 luck point to reward the spirit. So we're going to reduce Kayla's luck. So she has awoken the spirit. We're going to reduce her luck by 1. And that goes down to 1. And you can only use 1 luck per adventure. And there's a variety of different methods that I can apply luck. Because I don't really have a rule system, I can really apply it any way I think is appropriate. Usually it gives you a positive modifier on a die roll, or maybe have a re-roll or something like that. But I'm just saying that she's giving basically this awoken spirit inside her that she can visualize, maybe a shimmering light or something. She is going to give a bit of a reward to that. And this is maybe just to get a bit of the Pictish element coming out, this mythical spiritual side to the campaign. And that's what I want to try to emphasize at certain points. And she's going to make promises. She promises to make an offering in the House of Healing in Duncalath. So she's not only going to give a luck point, but she's actually going to make a bit of an offering when she gets to this House of Healing. The soul spirit can provide the following observations and hints. So we approach this camp and we have 3 different options that I have decided to outline. And what I will do is I'll go through each, and what we're going to do is randomly select good old Brown's channel methodology, whatever option we think is the most appropriate, and by most appropriate, whatever the bone dice tell us it is going to be. So the first is what I call the Raiders camp, and the inner spirit says, once a band of raiders or mercenaries rested here. The ashes of their fire lie cold, and a broken spear still juts from the peat. Yet some of their gear was left behind, a torn cloak, an unstrung bow, a cooking pot. Did they leave in haste? Perhaps a rival force drove them off, or something out on the moor made them flee. So that sounds a bit of a risque option. Let's see what else she has to say as another option. This is the Wanderer's Rest. This was the shelter of a family, not warriors. A child's toy carved of bone lies near the embers, and a length of weaving thread flutters in the wind. No bodies remain. Were they taken by slavers? Did the moor itself swallow them? This place feels wrong. A hush lingers, as though the earth holds its breath. Oh, yes, that sounds quite mysterious. Will it be that option? Let us move on. Pray, Spirit, tell what else you have to know. The third one in our litany, the outcast refuge. Shunned men or exiles have dwelt here. The ground is churned with many footprints, but the campfire is ringed with bones and charred offerings. Carved symbols are etched into the surrounding boulders. These are warding signs, crude but potent. The camp appears to have been abandoned suddenly, though perhaps not willingly. So we're either going to have a band of raiders or mercenaries, and they've been potentially chased off by some, maybe a malevolent force, or maybe it was mortal. Who knows? Was it this family that has been abducted, maybe by slavers, or maybe the moor itself has swallowed them? What a terrible thought. Or is it going to be the outcasts, these awful, maybe shunned men or exiles? They sound like they're a pretty nasty bunch, quite very, pagan, up to 10 on the scale. Maybe they do even human sacrifices. Oh, my goodness, what was, I can imagine them all kind of covered in grey mud like paint. Shouting and doing all that kind of ritualistic kind of stuff. It's not a nice sight. So which one are we going to have? We're going to roll a D. We're going to use the bone dice, and we are going to decide what it is going to be. And I will mark it down in my little zone 4 aid memoir. So the remnants of the camp. What is its backstory? It is, oh dear, it is number 3. So we should really have a little recap from the inner spirit. The spirit says, oh, this is the worst one you have chosen. Oh dear. She says, shunned men or exiles have dwelt here. The ground is churned with many footprints, but the campfire is ringed with bones and charred offerings. Carved symbols are etched into the surrounding boulders. These are warding signs, crude but potent. The camp appears to have been abandoned suddenly, though perhaps not willingly. Okay, so that is our setup. We've got an outcast refuge. My goodness, what is going on? Let's get this jotted down. Better get my just lost a bit of one of my sheets. Just fell down behind the radiator. We'll get the maybe I just got a bit excited there with the outcast refuge. So this outcast refuge, and who are these outcasts? You know, shunned men. As I said, I had painted this vision of rather kind of cannibalistic types, you know, wild people, wild men, shunned by society. My goodness, what is going on? It's maybe doing ritualistic sacrifices. It might not just be goats and sheep, it might be humans. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to approach the camp. We'll do some investigation, and based on this inner spirit has told us maybe a bit of, and hinted at, maybe not quite as blatant, and these things are kind of just kind of whispers and almost like an inner feeling. And what Kayla does is she relates this to the rest of the party, and they go, oh my goodness, this sounds very, very grim. What a sight. And it also puts into perspective everything they see. They see these rather there may be blood stains in areas and on the rock, these crude symbols, the campfire with these bones. And they go, oh my goodness, look, there's some bones here in this campfire. You know, have these been offerings made to some pagan force, some dark god? It looks very grim, so they're all kind of shaking a bit. It's a bit unsettling. They do feel that they really need to move on, so what they want to do is they're going to try to search this camp and see whether they can find anything. And Kayla reminds them of the thing that she saw. She said, when I saw this in the distance, I will remind you that I thought I saw a glint, and that must have been some form of metal. There must be something hiding in this camp. So what we're going to do is we're going to check for, first of all, abandoned belongings. And I'm going to say that actually there are 1 to 3 abandoned belongings of significance in this camp. And we're going to have 2. So we can do 2 checks. So 2 abandoned belongings checks. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a cunning ability check by the characters, and the best person for us to do this cunning ability check will be Kayla. So we'll have Kayla do one of them, and then what we'll do is we'll have Necht perform. Gartner, what Gartner is doing, they'll say to Gartner, look, Gartner, a lot of it has been taken out of you in that last kind of entanglement with the moor. Why don't you have a bit of a rest? You sit down by the campfire. Why don't you keep watch? If this story is true that Kayla has been relating to us, there might be some malevolent force lurking in these rocks. We want you to be on the front foot to make sure that nothing untoward comes out and surprises us while we conduct this search. So he says, absolutely, I am completely with the program on that one. So Garnet is singing from the same hymn sheet. We're going to do a test. We're going to get our folder out. We're going to get to our ability test, and then we'll do our resolution. And I will get to this one, which is on, yes, our ability test. This is here. And cunning, so that's think sometimes like finding a safe route, deceiving a guard, but we're actually going to be checking for any hidden items. To be successful, we have to roll d6. And what we do is if we have an attribute advantage, which is a high score, we get +1. If we are exceptional, we get a +2. So we do know that Kayla has got cunning of 10. So that is exceptional. So she will get a +2. So let's roll a d6 plus 2 and see how so she's a full success, positive outcome. So she's going to find something in the debris. And will Necht, who gets a +1, will she find something? She does. She completely. They are both very successful in their searching. That's a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I will get my table out, which I think I put at the back. Yes. Abandoned belongings at the camp table, and we have a d6. So let's find out what Kayla found when she was searching, and we'll roll a d6 for that. We use a black d6 for this. She finds a 3, which is a child's carved toy, a horse on wheels. The toy is simple but carefully made, its edges smoothed by many small hands. A poignant sign that a family, not warriors, camped here. Well, this has been overridden, so this is maybe this might be even a grimmer story. Maybe these shunned ones discovered this family or brought this family. It doesn't really bear thinking about. The toy could stir memories or pity among the party. Well, I think the party are going to be almost overcome with grief on the part of this child. Their minds are racing. There's, Kayla says, "Look what I found. It is this child's toy. What does this mean amongst all this carnage and sacrifice? Surely not." So we have a child's carved toy. Maybe we can take it back to Duncalf and maybe make some inquiries about it. So I'm going to say a child's carved toy, probably in the shape of a horse or something. That was quite a popular animal for the Picts to represent in some of their art. So we've got a child's carved toy. It is the camp is not the family's camp. Maybe the family were brought here for some terrible purpose. Everybody's starting to shake a little. We do have next find. So let's see what she gets. Hopefully something a bit more uplifting and not quite so depressing. Oh, here we go. So maybe this is what caused the glint. It is called the iron-tipped spear, shaft snapped in two. So the head is buried in the turf as if driven there in anger or in a struggle. The shaft lies nearby, splintered. This suggests a conflict. If repaired, it may yet serve as a weapon, though one with a story. Right, so maybe we could take it to Duncalf and maybe get one of the smith, a weaponsmith, a metal worker, to maybe divine its story. Maybe this has a tale to tell. Maybe it has an inner spirit. Let us find out. So we have an iron-tipped spear. So next says, look what I have found. I have found this weapon. This is the iron-tipped spear. This garnet, look, you could maybe have an heirloom of the land. The iron-tipped spear. You could be known as Garnet. The iron-tipped spearhand. If we get this reforged, it has a story to tell. So we're going to have a little story point on that. Story follow-up for that, and the carved toy. Yes. What? We have to do a bit of investigation, I think, on that one. So these, a sad finding, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe we are jumping to conclusions. I hope so. And then the iron-tipped spear, it has a story to tell. We are going to keep that with us. We have a little boon from that experience. And also, I have a chance of finding a relic. Now, one of the things that was pertinent to this particular part of the adventure was that I had a narrative point, the hidden relics. So I thought I would activate that. And if we roll a 6, we can roll on the hidden relics table. And what I'm saying is I'm not going to maybe have the relic just pop up, like buried in the turf like the iron tip spear. But what we might have is that we might have it is located maybe on this ridge line, or we could find maybe a clue to its location. Also, to get to represent the fact that it is down to maybe the spiritual side of the characters, anyone that has a high spirit, we're going to add +1. So we're going to say that we get a +1. So it's a 5 or a 6, and we will find a hidden relic as we are exploring. So while we're searching for these 2 items, no, we don't, unfortunately. Even with a +1, that is 4. So we don't find a hidden relic. Okay, well that's good. We have, so we think, all right, okay, I think the rest is over. We are just, Garnet is by the campfire. The other 2 characters are just coming back, and they're discussing all the things they found with the toy, with the iron tip spear. Just as we are returning, so while we are completing the searches of the camp, the characters begin to feel, they feel a growing cold creeping over them. So, they can see their breath coming out, and it's starting to freeze. And they think, oh, this is a bit strange. An eerie calm settles over the rock-strewn landscape. So the windswept ridge, it starts to settle down. This is strange too. And they sense a malign presence approach. So they see before them. They see before them. They see before them the haunting form of a black shade with glowing red eyes. Its voice is as old as the land. Greetings, travellers. What brings you to my lofty retreat? So it is a dreadful creature of the night. We're going to roll a 1 to 6, the scale of malevolence, to spiteful. So on a 1, it is very malevolent. It is the most evil thing. On a 6, it is merely spiteful. So what is it going to be? I think we should roll the black dice. The black dice of the windswept ridge for this. What's it going to be? It is not. It is not the most evil spirit, but it is spiteful. It still craves maybe human blood. So it will terrify the characters unless they pass a spirit test. Okay, so all the characters are going, whoa, are we going to be terrified? We're gonna have Kayla first with her spirit test. Let's find out what she gets. She gets a +2 because she's got a very high spirit. So we'll get a white dice for that. Let's see how Kayla gets on. She gets a 3 + 2 is a 5. That's a pass. So she says, "I do not fear you, creature of the night." So that is Kayla. Let's see Necht, and she gets a +1. So she says, I laugh. I laugh in the face of your malevolence. Yeah, it must be quite a sight coming creeping out of these rocks. And then we've got what is Garnet's spirit? Well, I think he's pretty good too, actually. He is good. He's got a spirit of 8, so he's right up there on the scale. So they're going to be a brave bunch. So what is Garnet? Yes, he's again. I laugh. I have done the drowning grip. That was a terrible thing. That pales in comparison. So we're all on the front foot with this spirit. It is not being able to terrify us. It is continuing to say, "Give me an offering, an oath, or to wish me service." So we go, foul shade, what is your name? If we are to give you an offering, what is your name? And he says, my name is Kieran, the Ridge Walker. I have been a slave to this ridge for many years. It is a terrible place full of terrible memories. So we're getting all the little bit of a story. We're getting it really kind of laid on. He would have, if we had found a relic, he might have helped us trying to locate it. But what he's doing is he's basically just a guardian. We do feel his presence moving towards us. He's becoming more and more malevolent. He's decided he craves human warmth, the company of mortals. He's almost like he's got that in the Lord of the Rings, where these ring race, I think in the Basque film, and they do that bit where they kind of they do that kind of whimper. So he's almost like whimpering for this craving. So I think the characters maybe have an option, and what Kayla does is that if we just look at her little sheet, she has got a ward versus spirits, her charm. So what she's going to do is she's going to use her ward to try to fend off this spirit. So she says, I have this ward, spirit, begone. And what she does is she looks into her ward, and it from it emanates a white light, which almost like a dome appears over the characters. However, this shade is not undaunted, and it continues to move forward, although it does feel you almost like feel its eyes starting to flicker a bit as it gets towards the white. And they say, well, we're not going to be able to hold this. This shade is going to be upon us soon. How can we fight it? And Nech says, I know what I must do. I must summon my ancestor spirit. I must summon Urad of the Iron Ford. And what she does is she says, Urad, listen to my plea. I call you from the wild hunt. And in the distance, we hear a faint horn, like a hunting horn, a shrill horn, and the shade, its eyes flicker again. He says, what is this that you call upon? And appearing over the crest of the ridge, it is Urad, coming bounding out, riding a stag. A kind of almost like in the Jackson films when the ring race were you could almost see them visibly. This is the kind of appearance. It's almost like a white shimmering form with a great horned helmet. He's on this stag with the great big antlers. He says, "Ha ha! It is Necht, my favorite. What makes you call me? What is this foul shade that I see before me? Is this the reason? Are you molesting my kin? I will have nothing of this." And Necht doesn't really need to say anything. I think Urad has got the idea, and he says, "I will banish you from this place." And what happens is that the shade, it starts to dissipate into the rocks. It almost like it dissolves away before our eyes. The ward from Kayla dissipates. This Urad says, "Well, that was entertaining fun. It is too early for you, Nech, to join me in the hunt. You have many things to do in your time, but I will return whenever you are in need. It is not often that you can call me, but when you are in dire straits, as I see, I will be there for you. I am off to join the Horn Hunter. I have much frolicking and jumping to do across these moorlands. Such fun hunting this game." So he pops off in a stag. Not to be seen again until maybe the next adventure. Although I don't really see him maybe popping up in an urban environment. The nearest thing you're going to get to an urban environment in Pictish. Okay, so this shade no more. He has gone. He has dissipated. That has been And that's what happens when you have you have a ruleless system and you can just do it based on a narrative, but try to frame it in a kind of fair way that you are doing some form of tests. You know what the qualities and quantities are that you're dealing with, and you're just applying it and trying to be a bit, have a bit of narrative, because that was the point. That was the sweat is coming off me. So that is the situation with characters. If we just get back to the situation that I need to summarize now, and I did have that towards the end of this. And I can see the time, that's been quite an exciting little adventure. The characters realize that they need to find out where they need to move on. This has taken maybe a bit longer, so maybe I'm going to have to add on another half hour, I think, for all that kind of searching and whatever. So we're going to have to say that it was, I think it was 6:15. So let's say it's now 6:45 is our time after all this searching. We've still got another hour's travel before we get to Dunclath, so it will be getting dark, definitely, as we go through the next scene. We can use this vantage point as we leave, just to make sure that we can check out the terrain. And we don't have time just now maybe to roll that up, but we'll do that first thing next time. And what we'll be able to do is discern the terrain. So that was one of the things that we would have from this windswept ridge, was the fact that we would be able to discern terrain. But I think what we can do is we can also maybe just get Brennan's view on what these shades are, what these spirits, these malign spirits. Maybe he has a bit of insight into that, and this could be something that's ringing in our ears and has maybe given us a bit of experience in that, so that we've been on the front foot because we were able to resist his terrifying form. We showed great courage, all of us, including Garnet, who has maybe not come across this type of thing before. So, Brennan MacDonald, what does he have to say about malign spirits? And he says, "Mark this well, traveller, not all spirits wander free. Some are bound, fettered to the earth itself. Upon the ridges where the wind never sleeps, and the rocks bear the scars of forgotten battles, there linger shades too stubborn to pass into the other world. These are the drech, the bleak ones, born of blood spilled and oaths broken. They cannot leave the stones that bind them, yet within their narrow dominion they are cruel and strong. The old folk say, when the wind shifts sudden and cold upon a ridge, it is the breath of such a spirit brushing your cheek. Do not answer its whisper, lest you give it leave to follow you. Pass quietly with no boast nor laughter, for these spirits hunger for warmth and envy the living who dare trespass upon their cairn." So he has given us a bit of a lowdown on this Drich. What a terrible spirit. This is a spirit that has fallen. It has some terrible thing, maybe an oath has been broken, blood has been spilled, maybe by kin. It has been bound to this ridge to walk for eternity. No wonder it is malign and cruel. It craves the immortal. Maybe it would destroy them over time. If we had not had the ward, if we had not had Uruk, we might have been in trouble. All right, so in fact, I think, did I call him Uruk? It should have been Urad. Yes. So yeah, I have to get calm down a bit. That was the that's the end of that particular scene. I did suppose I did really want a kind of like a little mini scenario there. That's what we've done. What we're going to do for the next episode is we're going to try to get across the remaining third of the journey. Hopefully it might not be as treacherous as the last two. That really was maybe took the biscuit, but hopefully you found that quite immersive and interesting, and maybe get an exposure to some of the things that you can actually encounter in this world. these malign spirits, and how probably each of them will have their own individual personality, their own individual take, their own individual look, and what I want to do is try to inject a bit of flavour and colour into all their encounters. We haven't even touched the surface really of all the different folklore and the different types of creatures and malign and sometimes benevolent creatures in this Pictish world, and I'm really looking forward to getting the opportunity to show them, and probably role play them as we have done with the Shade. So that was quite a character. That what was he called again? He was called Caeron the Ridgewalker, and again with Caeron the Ridgewalker, maybe we could find his backstory, maybe come back and banish him, or release him from this terrible thing. Maybe that's what Shades need. They need to be released. Okay, well, I'm exhausted. I think we've done enough for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to you joining me for the next episode.